Having bad habits in life, and certainly in art, is crippling. It makes everything harder. It's like poison. And so, in this week's episode of YouTube Art School, I'll share with you the best art habits you should adopt if it's not the case already. Good habits will be the difference between having a fulfilling life as an artist or failing miserably like so many do. And just for context, I've been a professional artist my entire adult life, 20 years so far, and an art teacher for over 8 years. These habits are tried and tested. They're the real deal. And class is starting. Let's get to it. All right, class is in session. Pay attention and pay the class fee of either 1 like or 1 sub. It's good value for your money, I promise. Now, I'll play this time lapse of some drawings that I did this week while I go through the 8 habits that made the cut. The 8 that I consider the most significant in developing fast and well as an artist long term. If there are some of these things that you're not doing, well, the habits become habits with repetition and enough time, so it's never too late to get started. All right, let's go. The first habit is to show up. Like a sport as artists, we learn by doing. You can't get better if all you do is sit on a bench or watch YouTube videos. That helps a ton, but you gotta do the work or it's just entertainment. It's not a spectator sport. You can cram all the theory you want in your brain. If you don't show up and practice, it won't matter much. A lot of people will tell you that, you have to draw every day. I don't agree. I myself don't draw every day, but I will, however, recommend doing something creative every day. That's very broad. It could be cooking a new dish, like trying pottery, whipping out the monster clay and sculpting something, painting miniatures, creating the background story for your next original character, as long as you keep your creative flame going. That flame goes out so quick when you don't, and it takes so long in comparison to get it back. Just do something creative every day, however small. It's so easy to keep the flame going that way. On to the next one. Inspiration is fleeting. And I'm sure you've had times where you weren't particularly inspired, but then other times something happens. You see something and it gives you like this urge to draw or paint. It's just not always there when you need it. It's what's called the elimination stage in the creative process, and it's one of those things that you can't summon at will. It just gotta happen sometimes. With that said, there are certainly things that you can do to help it happen more often, and because inspiration is such an elusive thing for artists, always be ready to capture it, to save it for later. Start by always carrying a small sketchbook maybe, wherever you go, so that you can always whip it out and capture your idea when it comes to you, either with like a sketch or a note, but also put yourself in situations that are more likely to spark inspiration. Experience things, exercise, go out, take classes, go on a trip, change your environment, try different things. Our experiences are great catalysts for inspiration. When we're inspired, there's nothing more fun than doing art. Value inspiration. The next habit is to make space for creative time. We tend to do things we set aside time for. Like if you have a massage appointment every week, you're probably going to go, even if canceling is free. If something gets scheduled, we subconsciously prepare to allocate time to it. So do that with art. Set aside some time every week, every day even, where you'll be sitting down and working on something creative, or standing up, I guess, whatever. When it's coming, it's funny how we tend to mentally prepare for it, and you're way less likely to just stare at a blank canvas not knowing what to do as a result. The fourth habit is to take observation breaks. This is actually one of the first assignments that I give students in my art school program, something I recommend doing long term until it becomes a habit. It's great to be curious as an artist, since you might do this without even realizing it already, but not everyone is. Either way, the benefits of being curious can also be achieved, by making it a habit to take observation breaks, which is basically to set an alarm every day, and when it rings, take 5 whole minutes and deliberately observe something around you. Observe it as if you were to draw it. What shape it has, how the shading would look, what colors you would need to use, if there's any texture to it, or if it's a smooth surface. It won't take long before this becomes something you do out of habit, and the positive impact it'll have on your art is mega. And something else that would also have a mega impact on your art is picking up my art program with the link in the video description. Like over 19,000 other students have in the past 5 years, I'm celebrating reaching this insane milestone this month with a huge discount on the full price. Check the link below, read the reviews, check out the video trailer for all the details. It's the best investment in yourself that you can possibly make as an artist. Don't miss out on this sale. Habit number 5. Never assume that you know better as an artist or know enough. You know nothing compared to all the things that can be learned. Approach learning art like a kid, without ego, without bias. It always seems like kids, pick up everything faster, languages, skills, but they don't actually do, or at least the reason they do is not something that we can't mimic as adults. A big part of it is that they don't fear failure as much. Like when learning to talk or write, they know if they mess up, some adults are just gonna correct them, so they keep trying and learning with the feedback. As we grow up though, we start putting up walls, we become less receptive to feedback, we start to feel shame, if we're not that good, and others feel like they can't be as honest with us since we don't respond to feedback as well anymore. It's a bad cycle, and it slows down growth tremendously. Until you're an art god, which is never gonna happen, don't be afraid to fail, to be afraid to ask for help. As a matter of fact, make seeking feedback a priority. It's not easy on social media, and everybody is just out there worrying about themselves. But with that said, you might get more luck on like art Discord channels or old school forums. Invest time to find a community with people that have good intentions. It's priceless. And the art school's private Discord server is certainly one very valid option. Link down below. The 6th habit is to keep a good portion of your work private, for your eyes only, or at least with the intention of it being private for the foreseeable future. I'm sure a lot of you already do this, especially if you're shy, about showing off your art, but so many artists like me who've always posted their art online start to consciously or subconsciously tailor their art to other people's preferences. And over time, it really messes up the relationship we have with art. It becomes like a game of external reward, feeding on the praise we get from strangers rather than truly being happy with the piece because you love the result. Instead, often it becomes happiness as a result of others liking it. You can always have that in small amounts, but passion fades so quickly when that's always the case. Art just becomes work, and you need to be passionate to be willing to spend hours on drawings, hours practicing, which obviously leads to getting better faster. So try saving some of your drawings for your eyes only, for a personal project of yours. That's been a game changer for me. It's what was able to lit my fire again after, doing art for others for so long because of my job. The 7th habit, and we're almost done, focus on your art more than you focus on other people's art. It's simple. It feels so good to look at your art and notice progress compared to like a year ago. And it feels, well, not that great to compare your art to someone else that you follow online who's years ahead of you, who's much better. Do more of what feels good. It's okay to look around for inspiration, of course, for reference. There's definitely a place for that. But focus on yourself more often. It can be as easy as cutting time browsing Instagram for art in like half or more, or wherever you go to see new art. And then finally, to go along with the previous habit, if you're going to look at other people's art, look at them while they create the art, rather than at the finished piece. Prioritize the process over the result. You can learn so much by watching an experienced artist work step by step. Even better if they explain, everything they're thinking while working on it. There's little value in comparison to seeing the final piece, but there's incredible value in seeing how it came together. Process over result, always. And well, that's gonna be it for this week's class. Let me know if you have any other habits that you think I should have included. Hope that was helpful anyways. Let me know in the comments below. And since you watched until the end, you get freebies. What, bro? Check the link in the video description to download my custom brush pack that I offer for free. It contains the same brush that I use in today's drawings, my legendary line art brush, and a bunch of others that I use all the time. In exchange though, you gotta make sure you have notifications enabled to be on time for next week's class. Don't cheat.